Alright guys, welcome to episode 18 of Ask Woodford. I am your host, Christian Woodford. Behind the camera as always is Alex Sandelis. Let's get to it guys, we've got a lot of questions. Ask Woodford. I'm going to try and answer this in the most clear and concise way I can possible and try not to ramble on because we only have a certain amount of time. We're trying to cut down the duration of Ask Woodford's. Alex, throw them at me.
Thomas Condon from Instagram.
Yep.
Said, thank you for everything you are doing for the industry. Do you recommend renting a small space?
Yep. Sorry, I'll turn this off.
Do you recommend renting a small space or factory for your first gym space? Let's get started.
Small, go, tell me the question again, sorry. I wasn't.
Do you recommend renting a small space or factory for your first gym?
Okay, so put it this way, right? If you have, what my suggestion is always, it depends, right? So if you have a clientele base to start with, let's say you're working in a commercial gym, and you have like a base to start with, and you know that base is gonna make you, I'm making X amount per week, and then you look at the rent per annum, the benefit of having your own space is you can control everything. Because the issue which I have with commercial gyms, and so the reason why I started Woodford was because I really couldn't do my own thing, was you're kind of confined to the kind of their instructions. So I, as you know.
You can't drop weights, you can't.
Well, you can't do shit really these days. My mate works at a commercial gym and he was telling me you can't, even on the platforms, you can't drop the weights. That's what the platforms are fucking for. So my suggestion is, number of factors. If you can do it and you have the financial backing, 100% do it, because you have, right away, you have that creative control. If you have no base, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself straight off the bat. So my suggestion is, if you don't have any capital, go the normal route which people do and build your name up through that. There's no point. It's like $250, $300 a week. That's fine. You should be able to build up through there. Go on a commercial gym. Then once you have enough clientele, then you can come across. It's always an open-ended question though. But I mean, you got to look at the pros and cons of both. For me, they're always pros. Having your own spaces, you can do what the fuck you want, and you're not confined to, like when I subleased from the old facility before Woodford Moorabbin. Fuck, it was a shit fight, man. Like just dealing with the owner and this, you know me, I don't like politics. I try and stay out of it, try and keep, do what I do best and really what I enjoy. So that's a good question. Pretty much I would say it depends. If you have a clientele base, yeah, you can do it. If you have financial backing, do it. If not, I'd start a commercial gym and build your way up like I did.
All right. Galvin Coaching from Instagram. Okay, another big fan. He's got a bachelor, strength and conditioning student. He's starting out on his own and he wants to try and use social media to promote himself. He's not sure where to start. Do you have any tips?
Oh mate, Gary Vaynerchuk. So if you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. If you listen to Gary V, Alex got me onto this, and I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. So Alex said to me the week before, hey man, you got to check out this Gary V guy, right? And remember that dude, literally the week after, some dude wrote on my post, Christian Woodford, you're like the Gary V of the fitness industry. And it's just funny how like attracts like, and you're attracted to all this stuff. So I started watching this Gary V guy, thanks to the guy behind the camera. And Gary V talks about social media, and what he talks about is, your product doesn't have to be fucking perfect. Just give it a shot and put yourself out there. And the old saying is, you don't have to be great to start, but to start you have to be great. And I agree with that so much, because a lot of people, they worry over what people think, and they're like, oh fuck, it's gotta be perfect. If you look at social media, how I started, was it perfect? Fucking no, not at all. But did I throw my hat in the ring, give it my best shot and try and show the service I offer? Yes. So I just think it's putting yourself out there. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You're never gonna get it perfect. And just give your brand and yourself and what you believe in. If it's your passion, just give your best effort. That's all anyone can ask you. And don't really worry about, as I said, getting it perfect, because I still don't have it perfect. I'm always looking for that. I refine everything. And like as Alex would tell you, with our social media, we're refining it all the time. So just throw yourself out there, give yourself the best effort you can give with social media, and then just go from there, and just enjoy the process, and just be passionate about it as much as possible. I see my mother come in right now. Hello, Anita. How are you going? Hey. Very good. Next question.
All right. What is the best way to go about prepping for a beep test?
Whoa, got my passport. Sorry. Mum, do you want to come in here? No. No? Come on, Mum. Come on. Come on, Mum. Mum, come on. This is my mother, Anita Woodford. Come on, Mum.
Yeah.
Come on. No. Oh, 1 million. And 1 million. Come on. Say hello.
Hi.
What? Just a bit of 1 million. How you going? Good?
Good.
We're just doing our Ask Woodford. G Wood behind the camera. Anita, thank you. Found the password. I'm off to Thailand on Sunday, have a week off, going with a lovely lady, so I'm very excited to be going.
Have you paid for your trip yet?
Yes, I'll pay for my trip. All good. I'm going to ask Dad for a bit of money as well. That's fine.
Who's money?
Here's money. Question, let's go.
What's the best way to go about prepping for a beep test?
Okay, if you look at the law of specificity, would state the closer the training task to the performance measure, the greater transference. So to get better at the beep test, you need to be running the beep test. Okay, so I think that you should be doing it just to understand the beep test, understand the awareness around it. You should be doing it, but not every week because it is a test. So that's the first thing to understand, that the specificity rings true. And also I'll be looking at, I'm actually training two firefighters at the moment who have to get over a certain amount on the beep test. So I've given them a basic conditioning plan, just people understand this. My area is not conditioning based work. In this company I'd say J, and then you can use figures like MAS. Sometimes we do tempo runs, so they keep it a certain tempo. What I like to do with my conditioning, what I personally believe in, is we look at work-rest ratios, okay? So the whole idea about a beep test is to improve, is to look at the athlete's aerobic capacity. But also you have to realise as well, you have to develop speed as well, and speed endurance, or what we call anaerobic endurance. So you need a certain periodised plan. So it might look like something like, it might be looking at your aerobic based training, so you're developing that work capacity, so you've got longer work, lower rest, and then you might build up towards more your speed endurance stuff near the end, or your speed work, because technique's important as well. So you pretty much got two factors. You've got that metabolic capacity you want to build through changing your work rest ratios, but also you've got the skill of running, because if you're more efficient at running, you're going to prolong time fatigue. If you prolong time to fatigue and you're more efficient when you run, what's going to happen? You're going to get a better score on the beep test. So it's kind of understanding, looking at our work rest ratios, what are we trying to develop, and then maximising it from there. As I said, I'm not the best one to talk to. Jay's the conditioning guru here, but that's how I would do it. Also, I wouldn't drop your strength training, just for them to understand. Don't drop your strength training, because we know proper strength and power training maximise your endurance performance due to neurological adaptation. Now, there actually is a question coming up to do with that.
Yeah, so
maybe should we add? Cut this on. Yeah, go.
So CR Strength and Conditioning Instagram asked, how does strength training improve aerobic endurance?
Okay, it's a very good question. So I'll get an endurance-based athlete in. So per example would be an endurance runner, right? So I've trained 10K runners before, I've trained 5K runners, and the first thing they say to me is, why would I strength train when I want to improve my aerobic endurance? That's the first thing. And what I say to them is, and I bring out a few studies to show the importance of strength training and power training. So heavy load, low rep, submaximal load, explosive training, ballistic training, what we call it, to maximise strength and power, improves endurance performance. And you ask the reason why. It's because of neurological adaptation, okay? Because what happens is your nervous system becomes more efficient at cycling motor units, okay? So pretty much what it is it's like, it's prolonging time to fatigue and improving running efficiency or economy. So what that means is you're expending less metabolic substrate, pretty much. So I'll give you an example. If someone is running real ineffectively, they're going to leak energy, right? Now, let's say you got A and B, right? Person A, person B. Person A just does your traditional long slow distance aerobic running, right? Because that's what they think you should do. Person B does that traditional running, okay? Does a bit of tempo work, does a bit of pre-effort works. This person works on the technique work of speed mechanics, running mechanics, and this person lifts twice a week. Lower body strength training, right? Maybe a bit of upper body as well, but 2 full body programs, right? And they focus on more, if you look on the neural versus metabolic continuum, they focus on the low rep, which is more neurological adaptation. So they're not focusing, because if you're focusing too much on that metabolic end where we're building that lean body mass, that's going to become an issue, because that's traditional bodybuilding training, okay? You want to stay away from that. You want to stay on the more neurological end of the spectrum. And this person B focuses on that, right? I can guarantee you this athlete B, all things being equal, is going to become a more efficient athlete. What I mean by that is when they run, they expend less calories because they're more efficient and they're stronger, because every foot strike, it's a sub-max effort compared to athlete A, who doesn't do any strength training whatsoever. Remember, it's the athlete that can produce the highest amount of power output for longer or in the race. Do you understand that? People don't understand power. Power is critical across the entire spectrum, not just for fucking strength power athletes, but for endurance athletes. So pretty much, if you're looking for the reason why, is because it's prolonging time fatigue and improving running economy. So it pretty much comes from neurological adaptation, becoming more efficient at recruiting motor units. That's what it is, and through technical work as well.
All right.
If you want to look at some studies, go into Google Scholar and write in strength training and endurance performance, and there'll be heaps come out. The perfect study I kind of talk about all the time was this 5 kilometre study, which showed it was 2 groups. One group just did endurance running, and the other group lifted with endurance running. And the group that literally lifted with endurance running improved their times by, like, not massively, but improved their times compared to just the endurance group alone. Have a read of it. It's good. Next question.
Cameron Gould. So this is a BJJ athlete. So he fractured 2 ribs, 3 weeks through recovery, and he's been advised that 6 weeks is the minimum to repair these ribs. His question is there any specific core exercises you'd recommend to reduce the chances of him, cracking a rib and injuring himself again in that contact sport?
Is there anything I suggest?
Yep.
For cracking his rib?
For reducing the chance of it happening again.
Break's just stiff, man. It's unlucky. But you got 2 types of injuries, right? You got preventables and you got unpreventables. A bone break, bro, that's just
fracture.
Well, it's still a fracture. It's a bone break.
Yeah.
It's like people say to me, "Oh, can you stop a?" I'll give you an example. I used to train gridiron players, right? If someone cuts a gridiron player, right, and it takes out the ACL, that's contact. You can't prevent that, man. It's just not going to happen. It just is what it is. Just unlucky. Same thing with that stuff. It is what it is. You might be able to condition it. Personally, you'd have to ask boxers. I'm not sure if this is true. You know when they do all their abdominal region, have you seen that where they throw the ball against them? They call that conditioning. Look, I don't know if that works. I don't know if there's science behind it. You'd have to ask the guys who actually coach it. But a bone break it's non-preventable. There's not much you can do about it. Hasn't done any gym work in 5 years, but wants to improve strength and weight loss. Yeah, that's a good question. You'd just start, you'd start. It's pretty common sense because you use common sense. They haven't trained in 5 years, right? So you don't want to flog them straight away. You want to take them through the skill of strength training first. So you probably go to more of a hypertrophy loading or sub-maximal loading, and then you build up from there. And everything would be based off movement competency. So for me, what I'll do is I'll just tick them off. Can they hit a hinge, a squat? You know how it is. A hinge, a squat, a push, a pull. You understand that, Big Six, baby. Ebook out now. Big Six. And I'll talk at the end. Can you remind me about saying something about the Big Six because I want to thank everyone for downloading it. In one day we had 2,000 people download it. Pretty cool. Very humbling. But I'll just take them through my 6 movements. Use the variations, as you know, Alex, which I coach you right now. You see the variation I plug in. Quite simple variations, but yield neuromuscular overload. I'd keep the loading sub-maximal for about 3 to 6 months because they've got no rush. They didn't say a time frame really, did they? You don't need to rush these people. If they want weight loss, the best way you can get fat loss, not weight loss. Weight loss is a combination of muscle and fat. Fat loss is fat loss only. The whole reason why you would train is for fat loss, not muscle loss. You need muscle. Why? Base metabolic rate, 3 factors to metabolism. Base metabolic rate, thermogenic effect of food, and exercise. Now we know base metabolic rate is linked up with what? Lean body mass. Now how do we get lean body mass? Strength training. So you can see how important strength training is on the grand scheme of things, also eating correctly. So my suggestion is you take your time, don't rush it, hit your primals, and then work in mesocycles of 4 weeks. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Clear, concise.
Last one.
Come on, we're going to finish it.
Ethan Wilson, how does cross-education work?
Okay, so when I did my honours in transcranial magnetic stimulation, my friend did a project on cross-education, contralateral training. So when you train one arm, you get neurological adaptation on the other arm. I'll be honest with you, I've kind of forgotten pretty much I'll keep it simple that people can understand. If you train, let's say this arm's in a sling, and you train the opposite arm, right, elbow flexors, you will get neurological adaptation depending on, as long as the loading parameter is okay, through what we call neurological spillover effect. If you train this arm, you get adaptation on the other arm. Neurological, not muscle morphology, neurological.
You still might atrophy this arm.
Yeah, but you're going to maintain that neurological pattern. That's why people do, let's say their legs in a cast on the other leg, you train the other leg like a leg press, you're going to keep that neurological adaptation.
All right.
that's the best I can give it to you. And maybe you can put some links on Cross Education up. But my friend did my project was actually looking at not cross education. We're looking at neurological adaptation.
Do you want to shout him out where people can research his name?
Yeah, but it's not going to be up, bro. He didn't get his paper published. But there's plenty of others you can get. If you want to look at neurological adaptation, look at Sailor and Anoka. They're the big two, similar. But Yalis. Anything like Thursday. You're a beautiful man, Yalis. A beautiful man. Yeah, so anything like that, neurological adaptation, Anoka, Sail, similar, all those big guys. They're big neurological guys. They're all what I read. Maybe we can go to my project one day and ask Woodford, I don't know. But my project quickly was looking at neurological adaptation underpinning strength improvements following slow and fast velocity leg strength training. And we used the non-invasive technique called transcranial magnetic stimulation that stimulates your frontal lobe, which is your M1, and then we get a corticospinal response via EMG, which is electromyography. So you see it on the screen, you see the electroactivity. I won't go into too much, that's enough. Anyway, I just want to quickly touch on the ebook. I can't thank you guys enough. We offered it free for the first 24 hours. We were inundated.
It wasn't 2,000, it was over 1,000. It wasn't 2,000.
Dad told me 1,800 to 2,000. That's what my dad told me. Gee would. I don't know. Anyway, look, let's just say a lot. A lot of people download it. We've already had a lot of people buy it as well. So, man, it's very humbling. Thanks very much. I just want to say, master the basics, stick to the basics. 99% of the time, the basics work. And a lot of people miss the basics for all this complex shit, but they don't get the fundamentals. This will be my legacy. This will be our legacy. And as we develop Woodford, you'll see a lot more of this coming out and refining it. So I'm real proud of the work that we put in. I want to thank Alex. I want to thank Matt. I want to thank Brent. I want to thank the whole Woodford team. Guys, thank you very much. Ask Woodford, episode 18, very clear and concise. Next few weeks, we'll have a few special guests on. Look out for that. As always, I want to thank the guy behind the camera, Alex Sandelis. I want to thank LP Support. I want to thank MacGuyandFitness.com.au for all their equipment needs. And I thank you guys for watching Ask Woodford, because without you guys, I wouldn't be Woodford, or we wouldn't have an Ask Woodford because we have no fucking questions. So, thanks very much, and hopefully you tune in next week to Ask Woodford, episode 19.